Okay, now let's use the MPS with a safety stock of 50. So if you remember, the MPS is majorly about what are you dealing with, what is the product, it's a bike. How long, how much do you need is basically what you're going to handle on our table, and what is the lead time. So we'll work with a lead time of 2 weeks just for consistency. So we'll do it by hand, and then we'll go to Odoo. So we are starting with 350, and we have our gross requirements throughout the weeks over here. So let's fill it. So I'm starting with 350. So the amount that I'm carrying forward to week 1 is 350 bicycles. So 350. So when I have 350 bicycles on hand and I'm required to supply 110, do I have a net requirement? Certainly not, because the difference is 240. So just to repeat this, is that anytime you have a difference of negative, that basically tells you that you basically have a net requirement. So here we have 0. So planned order receipts and planned order releases will also be 0. And by the way, guys, I've realized that in some of the previous videos I've been mixing the planned order receipts and planned order releases. That's a difference between, that's a coordination of mind and mouth, so please pardon me for that. So if we have 350 bicycles, you supplied 110, what's left? We are left with 240 bicycles on hand. That's quick math. Now I have 240, but we have a scheduled receipt of 150 in week 2. So what do I end up with? I end up with 240 carried forward from week 1, and I'm receiving 150 in week 2. So I have a total of 390 bicycles in week 2. That's basically what I have on hand, but I have a demand for 145. So if I supply 145, I'm left with 245. That tells me that my net requirement is 0, so I carry forward 245 bikes. So here 245, I'm supposed to supply 228. That leaves me with 17 bicycles on hand. Now if you remember, we already did lot for lot where the safety stock was 0. So basically this is a table that we used for lot. If you are not aware of how we did it, you can just go to a previous video in this playlist. So here I will be left with 17 bicycles, but I have a requirement that I need to have a safety stock of 550 bikes. That's a minimum. At any given time I need to have 50 bikes on hand. So if I'm left with 17 bicycles, let me just do the rough math here. If after selling 228 I'm left with 17 bicycles, how many bicycles do I need to have a safety stock of 50? It will basically be 50 minus 17, and that is a net requirement of 33. That way 244 bicycles sell to 228, and then you have planned to receive 33 in this week. So if net requirements are 33, because we're using lot for lot, we order only what we need. So if I am left with 17 and I receive 33, that means that I will have 50 on hand. The safety stock always has to be 50. But remember, I have a lead time of 2 weeks. Let me just write that again. I have a lead time of 2 weeks. So for me to receive these 33 bikes in week 3, I must make the order in week 1. So these bicycles must be released from the supplier in week 1. So there we go. Now let's go to week 4. We are going to week 4 with 50 bicycles. So if we have 50 and we have a demand of 450, it basically means that we have a net requirement of 400. So we have a net requirement of 400, but remember we have a safety stock of 50. So basically if we order 400 and we add to the 50 that we already have, and we supply a demand of 450, we'll be left with 0 bicycles. So basically you want to order 450. So you have a net requirement of 400 plus the safety stock of 50. So that's our rough work. This is basically what we require. So if we require it, we require 450, it means that we must plan to receive the 450 bikes in week 4, and for us to receive it in week 4, there must be a planned order release in week 2. Yeah, that's right. So these bicycles must be sent from the supplier in week 2. That's 450 bicycles. So let's go on forward. So basically we have 50 bikes on hand. We have nil demand. We have nil demand on week 5, and then we come to this week. We are carrying forward 50 bikes. So if we have 50 bikes and we have a demand of 154, it basically means that we have a net requirement of 104. This is lot for lot, but we want to always have our safety stock. I think by now you have gotten the concept. So we're not going to order 104 bikes, but we'll need to order 104 plus 50, the safety stock. So that's 154. So we have a net requirement of 154 bikes. That means we must receive 154 bikes in week 6, and because we have a lead time of 2 weeks, we must order it in week 4. Okay, so that's that. And then week 7 we have 0, so we are carrying forward just 50 bikes. So 154 plus 50 is 254. Supply on 54, you're left with 50. So this is 0. This is 50 bikes. So if we have 50 and we have a demand of 227, it basically means that we have a net requirement of how much? I think it's 177 plus 50 should give me 227. But remember, we always have to have a safety stock of 50. So this is just my rough work. So we need to buy 227. We must receive the 227 in week 8. And for us to receive them in week 8, we must order them in week 6. So that's in red. We have 0 demand. So 0 demand. Oh, okay, we have 50 here. And we have 0 demand in week 9. So 0 net requirements. We're just going to skip week 9. And then we go to week 10 with 50 bicycles. And for us to supply a demand of 300, we have a net requirement of 250. But remember, we must always have a safety stock of 50. So that means we have a true net requirement of 300. So this is 300, not 399, 300. And for us to get this 300, we must receive them in week 10. And for us to receive in week 10, we must take into consideration the lead time of 2 weeks. So we must get the 300 bikes on week 8. So basically this is the lot for lot with a safety stock of 50. You can pause this video, analyze the table, and I'll see you in the next one when we do it in Odoo.